Let's get going. So hello everyone. Welcome to our webinar where today we want to talk to you all about our incredible entertainment on our magnificent fleet of ships. Before we get going, if you don't know me, my name is Steph Adams and I'm the Training and Engagement Manager at P&O Cruises. And today, quite frankly, I'm delighted to be joined by Catherine Badman, who is a senior manager in our entertainment department. And I truly could not think of anybody better equipped and able to bring what a brilliant topic to life than her. And Cat lives and breathes entertainment day in, day out. So thank you for joining us, Cat. Are you excited to be here? But tell us a little bit about your role.
Yeah, thrilled to be here. Thank you, Steph. That was quite the introduction. I don't know how I'm going to live up to it. So yeah, my role in the office now is basically developing new entertainment for all of the P&O Cruises fleet. So anything that you do or see or hear or anything on board the ships that falls under me and my team, with lots of help along the way as well, of course. I started my career with P&O Cruises actually when I was 19 years old, so a year ago. No, I'm joking. And I joined at the time Oceana, which was one of the ships that we had in our fleet, as a very fresh-faced youth staff, so looking after the children on board the ships. And it was meant to be a summer job, and then I just completely forgot to leave. So fast forward 10 years, I was still there when COVID struck, and had subsequently worked my way through the entertainment ranks up to entertainment director for the last few years. And then obviously, as the ships were furloughed, there was not much need for entertainment directors on board at the time. So I thought, well, what is there to do in the office? And via a few segues, found my way into this role. So really exciting to be able to put all of that sort of shipboard experience into action. And I've made my home in Southampton. So it's lovely to be here and to be able to chat to you about our entertainment proposition on board today.
Yeah, we're delighted to have her here, and she's got so much knowledge. And actually, Kat did this presentation for us as a sales team, and I immediately went over to her and said, you need to come and tell our travel agents everything you've just told us, because it is fabulous. So Kat is going to showcase the different types of entertainment on board. And you know what, at P&O Cruises, we really do pride ourselves on the value for our holidays, but also with so much including that entertainment around the clock. Whatever your age, your interest, I'm sure Kat is going to absolutely demonstrate today how great that entertainment is. Now, throughout this webinar, do please use the reactions, do use the chat function if you've got any burning questions for Kat. And also, those of you who want to win some Shine points, or we know points mean prizes and getting on board your own holiday. If you click on the polls and quizzes section at the bottom, you'll be able to play along as Kat is talking and play along, answer the questions, and then we will pick selected winners to win some Shine points. So without further ado, can I see these reactions? Who's ready to get going to let us entertain you? Over to you.
Fabulous. Thanks, Steph. Right. I will share my screen, or maybe Steph could share her screen, and I'll talk through those slides, because it doesn't seem to be working from my laptop.
No problem.
And we're going to start actually with a little video, and I hope that this sums up the excitement of everything that you can experience when you go on a P&O Cruises holiday. It's a little wrap up of all of the different snippets of entertainment that we've got on board our ships. So if we can go to the next slide.
Very crazy, but
And I'm winning.
no, we're level.
Just. Welcome, crew, on board. There's something for everybody, from comedy to singing, dancing.
Fab. So hopefully that shows you a little bit of the excitement that we have on board of our ships, and also just the diverse range of entertainment that we offer. We always say, it's really important on our ships where we've got so many different generations, so many different kinds of people that come on board, that there is something for everyone to be able to enjoy. And hot off the press, something that we're starting to introduce at the moment are these different categories of our entertainment. So this is really a way of guests understanding what they might like to go and do and see and listen to. So we've got 5 different categories that most of our entertainment is split into here. So play to win, let the show begin, learn something new just for fun, and get up and go. And then at the bottom, you can see family zone, because our family proposition is increasing on our ships exponentially year on year. We've got more and more stuff for families to go on and enjoy. So really important to have a little chat about family zone as well. And I thought the best way of taking you through all of the entertainment that we've got on offer is probably just to work our way through these categories. Now, the reason that we develop these different categories is so if a guest on board thinks, what am I in the mood for today? They get their daily paper, The Horizon, and they have a look through it. And it contains so much stuff, absolutely everything on board, but especially those that are new to cruising, they might not necessarily understand what everything is or what they might be in the mood for. So these categories just give them that little bit of a pointer in the right direction. Some of our entertainment is bookable pre-cruise. A lot of it you can see advertised on the website. You can go on My Holiday app, and a lot of it will be on there. And so these are just a way of just making sure that those categories are a common theme right the way through that journey, right the way through all of the collateral that our guests are seeing, and can really identify, oh, you know what, I'm in the mood for some enrichment today. I want to go and learn something new. Or actually, I fancy doing something a little bit active. I'm gonna get up and go and see what there is in those categories today. So we will start then with play to win. Now, the kind of things that we have in this category is basically, as the name says, anything that you can win prizes for at the end. So you can see the picture in the top left is a behind the scenes picture of our Quizdom system. Now, this is the system that we run all of our quizzes, bingo, game shows, karaoke off. So this is just one very small screen of tens of thousands of quizzes and game shows that we've got on board there. And we have things like a traditional quiz where you sit down and you get 20 general knowledge questions and you write down the answers for those real quiz purists, right the way through to our quickfire quiz challenge that you can see on the screen, where everyone gets a buzzer and it's fastest finger first and you're sort of firing those answers off. Oh, Angie loves the quickfire quiz challenge. Thanks, Angie. And then obviously, we've got sort of the more gambling elements in the play to win as well. So if you want to take part in bingo, and there's a few different types of bingo on board. So at the moment we are looking at our bingo proposition. And if you watch this space, hopefully in the next year or so, we're going to create some real big mega bingo. So again, a bit like the quizzes, we've got our traditional eyes down, dabbers down. We're making sure we've got all those numbers. But then, we've got the really big, wild, vibrant bingos on the way where guests can just play to win, of course, but just have a real fun time while they're doing it. And then things like an evening at the races. So guests can go it's like they would in any kind of race course, except it's all obviously on the television. They bid on their favorite horses. They cheer them on, and you can win cash prizes if your horse crosses the finish line first. We've recently added Deal or No Deal to our ships. So it's just like you would watch on the television, but a little bit enhanced. So we have 2 different rounds. So 2 different guests get the opportunity and actually play up and choose the boxes. But for all the guests that aren't actually playing, they can play along. So you get a scratch card, and if your box comes up, you can scratch it up, and there are still loads of chances to win. So really interactive, really fun stuff. And then some of you, if you've been on one of our ships in the last couple of years, might have seen Wavelength. So this is a game show that we developed alongside the incredible Ben Shepherd, who you probably recognize from Tipping Point and other such TV appearances. This has been on our ships for a couple of years now, as I said, but I thought in order to explain it better, why not let Ben do it himself?
So really excited that we have finally launched Wavelength across the entire P&O Cruises fleet. All 7 ships now have the show installed and it's up and running, which has been amazing. We first started working on this as a concept in 2021, so it's taken a couple of years to go through the various iterations and development process. And we're thrilled to bits with how it's being rolled out, and the entertainment managers that are hosting the show are doing an incredible job. One of the really important things that P&O Cruises were keen to do was develop and bring a TV-style game show with all the standards that we would apply to a TV game show, quiz show that I work on, but onto a cruise ship. Every single element that we have applied to Wavelength is something that we would apply to what we do on television as well. So it's as close as you will ever get to having a TV quiz show or game show, but on a cruise ship. And crucially, Wavelength is live every single time. The heart of the show is the contestants. It is you passengers, and we want the ones that want to go out there and have a really good laugh, get to know some of the other passengers, maybe win some nice prizes, but more importantly, create some really special memories. How many times do you get to go on a TV quiz show, but on the cruise ship? You'll love it. Just go and prove you're on each other's wavelength.
Fab. Thanks, Teresa. Yeah, really fun idea, and such a great guy to work with. And obviously, apart from just having the excitement of being on a TV style game show on board, again, great opportunity to win prizes. So, you know, our guests could win dinner for two in our specialty dining restaurants on board, or some amazing things from the shops, spa treatments. So loads of really, really exciting things that you can win from that as well. So our next category is Let the Show Begin. So this is kind of anything that's got a performative element, really. So obviously, as part of that would be all of the amazing performances that we have from the Headliners Theatre Company. So we have our own in-house group of singers and dancers on board the ship, the Headliners Theatre Company. And they have a series of different shows that they will perform, and that will vary depending on what ship you're traveling on, but always super fun, vibrant, exciting. And so obviously that is a really big part of the performative value. On the nights that they're not performing, we have guest entertainers. So these are some world-class entertainers who will travel on board the ship. They'll come for a couple of nights, they'll perform one or two shows, and then off they pop again, and they'll be off to a different ship, and we'll get somebody new on board. So it just really keeps that variety alive in the theatre every evening. And then, of course, this category really extends outside of the theatre as well. So we've got show lounges on our ships, we've got cinemas, we've got sky domes where we've got incredible performances happening. There's so much going on board. And then one of the things that we're so proud of on P&O Cruises is our live music proposition as well. So on any given ship, you might have up to 30 musicians, sometimes even more. And you've got orchestras that accompany the shows in the theatre. You've got Pulse, which is our party band, who will keep you rocking until late night in the nightclubs. We've got classical pianists for those that prefer sort of a little bit more of a sedate evening. We've got buskers who will roam around the ship playing guitar and pop up when you least expect them. It really is endless, the different types of musicians and variety that we have on board the ship. So wherever you go, if you like live music, there'll be something for everyone. And then, of course, there's the entertainment that we ask our guests to provide themselves. So things like karaoke and guest talent shows. And our guests love getting stuck in with stuff like that. One thing that we've had on board the ships in recent years, which is always super funny to go to, so if you ever are on one of our cruises, you must go along to it, is the silent disco. And it's great to get stuck in and have your headphones on and choose your different channel. But if you actually just take a step back and take your headphones off and just watch the carnage that's unfolding, you'll have some people on one channel dancing to the YMCA and singing at the top of your voices, and then another group of people will be singing along to Sweet Child of Mine or whatever it might be, and it's just absolute chaos, but it's so much fun.
They're amazing. I love the silent disco. It's so much fun. Absolute chaos, but yeah,
absolute chaos.
Right.
Absolute chaos. Yeah, just as much fun to watch as it is to join in. And then something that we've been working really hard on over the last couple of years is our sail away proposition. And sail away is a tricky one because we know that so many different guests have different opinions of how sail away should be run. So we're really trying to put that variety into sail away. So whatever kind of sail away you experience you enjoy, there'll be something for you along the way. And actually in the bottom left-hand corner, Steph, I don't know if you can give it a click, we've developed a new sail away song. So you might not want to play the whole thing because it is a little bit long, but just to give you a fun little idea, maybe if you skip sort of halfway through. So this is part of our party sail away. This is one of our new sailaways in the proposition that we've developed, and you can see the entertainment host there in their really brightly coloured shirts, and this is sort of our most lively, vibrant one to get all of the dance to get all of the guests to come and sing along and dance to. We've got a welcome on board sail away as well, and plenty of others in between. And we're also have developed lots and are in the process of developing more destination themed sail aways. So one thing that's really important to us is bringing that destination alive on board. And we know that a lot of our guests choose their cruises based on the itinerary and where that ship is heading to. So to be able to bring that on board the ship as well is really important to us, and especially in that sail away proposition. And that's one of the amazing things about cruises, right? So any other holiday you go on, you don't have that sail away experience. So such a unique thing that we're able to offer. Should we move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
So our next slide is the unbelievable show, which obviously is part of Let the Show Begin. And this is our newest show that we've got on board the ship in conjunction with Stephen Mulhern. So some of you may have seen Astonishing when you've traveled previously, and this is the next level on from that. So bigger tricks, it's magic and illusion. So bigger, better, more exciting tricks, new dance routines, new costumes. And I've actually got 2 videos to show you of this one because we were able to go in and film the first cast in production. So all of their rehearsal period, talking to Stephen Mulhern and Johnny Wilkes, who put the show together in conjunction with our in-house teams. And then we've got a second video following on from that, which shows opening night on board the ship. So really nice to see that behind the scenes look of how we put that show together, and then it transitions to the onboard experience and how our guests enjoyed it.
This is our brand new show for P&O Cruises.
It's called Unbelievable. It's a brand new magic and illusion show. This is going to be good. Today is our first day of rehearsals. We've got our brand new cast. We've got all of our new illusions.
This is so exciting.
I can't wait for the audiences to see it.
Unbelievable is unbelievable.
So many tricks that I hadn't seen before.
It was incredible. I had no clue how they did that.
Following the success of Astonishing, we wanted to take the next show to the next level. It's full of fabulous music, fabulous costumes, and some of the most incredible live magic tricks that will blow your mind.
There's so many different styles. It's quite mysterious, I'd say, this one. It's kind of dark and moody.
It's one of those shows, the more times you see it, the more impressive it becomes because you try and work out how it's done.
It's brand new, dance numbers, loads of magic tricks. Everyone can get involved. I can't wait for the P&O Cruises guests to see it. They're absolutely going to be blown away.
I saw that cast when they were in rehearsals in our academy, and they were just phenomenal. So I can imagine that our guests are enjoying that so much on board the ships. And like Astonishing, if you saw it, there's loads of interactive stuff with Stephen Mulhern. So he comes on screen and we'll do a magic trick that the audience will have a participation in. It's really interactive and really, really cool, modern, vibrant show. So our next category is Learn Something New. So again, as the name suggests, Zoe, what ships is Unbelievable on? So Unbelievable is on all of our ships with the exception of Iona and Avia. So Britannia, Azura, Ventura, Arcadia and Aurora all feature Unbelievable on board. So Learn Something New. And again, as the name would suggest, this category is all about enrichment and going home with some skills that you didn't necessarily come on board with. So whether that's a physical skill or whether that's some knowledge, it's anything where you go along and you're learning. And we have an incredible program of arts and crafts on board called Creative Waves. So each of the ships in our fleet travels with 2 performance artists. So they are artists by trade and they all have different specialist skills. But they're also trained in teaching and making those classes really fun and exciting and vibrant and bringing all of those skills to life. So you have anything from more traditional elements, again, so things like watercolor art classes, all the way through to felt making, jewelry making, and then loads of crafts that bring the destination live on board as well. So for example, if you're on Iona and you're traveling around Norway, then you'll have the opportunity to turn a pair of socks into a gonk, which is always super popular. And then we have a few more sort of modern and exciting ones. So there is wine and paint. So obviously this is quite popular on land as well. You can have a glass of wine and you can paint along. But we also have some that take it to the next level. So you actually do your watercolor art painting with the wine, so like varying degrees of shades, and that comes into some beautiful different pictures. And if wine's not your thing, then you can do that with coffee as well, and you can paint with coffee and they make the coffee ground stronger or weaker depending on what kind of shade you want in there. So really, really fun. And loads of activities throughout the day for you to join in with. So each day there'll be at least 4 Creative Waves activities going on. Then, of course, we have things like cooking demonstrations. So our incredible chefs on board will give demonstrations to our guests of how they can recreate dishes from some of their favorite restaurants on board. But then we also have our food heroes. So every now and again, we will have one of our incredible chefs come on board and they will do live cooking demonstrations on board the ship. So the other day I was traveling and was watching Jose Pizarro cut up the most amazing ham and give it out to the audience to try. And so really exciting to have that sort of close-up look and all of that enrichment through culinary delights. And then we also have things like art talks. So if you've got a particular interest in our artist, then you can go along and find out more about them. And we have a full program of guest speakers on board our ships as well. So these are experts in their field, and they come on and they travel for the cruise and they will do a series of talks over any day that the ship is at sea. So for example, here we've got Julian Dismore, who's a TV producer. So he will talk about his time in television and what goes into being a TV producer. But we have speakers on all sorts of topics. So it can be anything from sort of maritime and aviation to what at the moment is so popular is any sort of crime speakers. So I think if you log into Netflix, you can see how many crime dramas there are. And definitely a lot of speakers coming on board now that are the most popular are talking about true crime, their time in the police, and anything like that, sort of forensics, very, very popular. And in the last sort of 6 months or so, we've been working on our branding of our guest speaker proposition. So as part of the Learn Something New branding, we've created new adverts, we've created new PowerPoint presentations that all of those speakers use. So if a guest is walking past or if they see the PowerPoint on the screen, they immediately know it's got that P&O Cruises quality. All of our speakers come into the office before we put them on the ships. They're all vetted by us, so we know that they're producing really quality presentations. Andy, thanks for your question. Is there a way to find out who will be on a sailing? So at the moment, it's a little bit luck of the draw. So it's a surprise and delight once you get on board the ship. But we're really hoping in the future that we're going to be able to get more of the entertainment live on the pre-cruise personalizer. So when guests book a cruise, they'll be able to log on and book whatever they want to in advance. Whereas, in the future, we're hoping to be able to get more and more of that entertainment on there, so guests are able to see what is coming up on their cruise and give them the opportunity to get really excited about it. We actually have a song to play on this one as well. So as part of that guest speaker branding, we created a new piece of music. This one again is quite long, so we might just skip to the middle and have a little bit. But again, it's just that chance for us to put that really catchy tune out there. So if a guest is in a venue and they hear that tune, they automatically think of us, automatically think of guest speakers and that enrichment that they're going to have and the quality associated with it. So again, Steph, you might want to do a little bit of a...
Here we go.
It starts off quite slow, so if you go about 2/3 of the way in. You won't believe how catchy it can be as well. And again, it's all just about elevating the quality of it. So you go and it sounds a little bit like the jingle that you might get before a news item. But yeah, just to give it that little bit of gravitas. Great, so after Learn Something New, we have Just for Fun. So this, as it says, is basically any activity that our guest wants to go along and have a little bit of whimsy. You're on holiday, so why not do something just for the sake of it, just because it's quite fun. So within these categories, we've got things like all of our board games, bridge, some of our ships feature bridge. Some of our newer ships, we don't have bridge instructors on. So again, that's all about getting your clientele to find the right ship that really suits the kind of cruise that they want to go on to. But you can see that the picture on the right-hand side with that little cabinet, that's our new board game case, which is being rolled out across the fleet. We've already got it on Iona. So guests can go along, they can help themselves, they can choose a game. Because we know that not all people want to be entertained by the big, wow, jazzy shows. Some people actually would rather just sit in a quiet corner and with a pack of cards or play Monopoly with their family. So really something to please everyone on there. We've got a suite of Just for Fun activities, so really silly things like indoor curling you can see on there. One of our most popular actually, which is such a simple concept, is making a paper airplane and then having a competition as to how far you can fly it. But again, it's just sort of elevating that silly idea. So the entertainment hosts have the high-vis jackets and they've got the paddles as if they're landing a plane. And it's just that kind of whimsy that the guests really want when they're on holiday. Things like speed puzzle competitions. But again, we also have our regular puzzles. So if somebody just wants a quiet afternoon with a cup of tea, watching the scenery go by and putting a few puzzle pieces in. And then I don't know whether any of you have ever played Pass the Pigs before. It's a very, very silly game, but it's completely addictive, where you basically roll 2 pigs and you've got to bet on how they're going to land and whether you want to keep your points or not. But we've got Giant on board, so you throw those pigs in the air and see where they land. But again, very, very silly. And then in the bottom right, some of you might already be aware of this, but this is Mission Control. So this is exclusively on Arvia, so our newer ship. And when she was built, we put a submarine on board. So not a real submarine, I should add, but an incredible simulator. And you can book in to take part in Mission Control. So there are 2 different missions that we have. One is more aimed around adults, 13 plus suitable for, and then one that's more family friendly. And you go in, you get assigned a role, and then you enter the submarine, and it's super, super realistic. There are screens all around, so it really feels like you're underwater. The floor moves, so there's hydraulics in the floor, so when you're walking around, it feels like you're in a submarine. And there's a periscope that comes down, so again, you can have a look at the top, and then there are different things that you need to complete throughout the mission in order to successfully make your way back to the surface. But really, really cool. So definitely check that out if you're ever on board Arvia. And again, something else in that Just for Fun category. There is a charge for mission control, yes, Zoe. So it's slightly cheaper for children than it is for adults. So I believe the charge is £10 for children and £20 for adults for that mission. But it's a good sort of hour and a half experience that you get in there, and obviously sort of a lot less than if you were doing a traditional escape room on land. So next we've got Get Up and Go. And this is anything that's really active. So all of our ships have sports courts. So within the sports courts, there's equipment out that people can play with throughout the day. But then we also do hosted activities in there as well. So things like football tournaments, things like cricket, basketball. And then there are various different other sort of more ship-specific sports that we have around the deck. So we've got deck quoits and shuffleboard, two very traditional deck sports on board. And again, you can just go and play as a family if you want to, or you can go and join in a scheduled competition. We've got short tennis on board, dance classes on a lot of our ships. So all the ships, with the exception of Iona and Arvia, sail with a ballroom dance instructor couple. So you can go along and learn how to ballroom dance, or in the evenings, you can go along to sort of dance dates and join in with that. But all of our ships, including Iona and Arvia, have got dance classes. So they have line dancing. We also have a really fun dance fit class. So the Headliners Theatre Company dancers take you through more of an exercise-based dance class. And then new, which is proving really popular, is the Headliners Theatre Company experience. So you can go along and meet two of the Headliners Theatre Company dancers, and they will teach you a slightly stripped down version of one of the dances from the shows that we have on board. So you can go along and actually learn some of the routines that they're going to be performing in the theatre that evening. And then when you see them on stage, you can go, oh, I know how to do that. We also have archery across all of our ships. So something a little bit new, and that's included in the cost. If anyone can join in with archery, and you go along and they'll give you the basic instruction of how to do it. And then you can see right in the middle, we've got the targets to shoot at. And then there are some more ship-specific stuff. So on Arvia, we also have a mini golf course, which you can go up and play at any time. That the equipment's always out and for you to use. And then we have the Skywalk, which is our high ropes course. Now, there is a small charge for this one, and this one does need to be booked in advance because we can only have 10 to 20 people up at a time. However, it's super, super fun. If you are afraid of heights, it's still worth a go, but it is 54 meters above sea level. So it's pretty impressive. And if you do it, if you're in port in the Caribbean, for example, and you go up there on a lovely hot sunny day and you can see for miles and you can see out the whole of the island, it's a really impressive sight. So yeah, lots of really fun activities for those that are feeling like they want to be a bit more active during the day. And that's sort of all of our categories wrapped up in what we would call the main entertainment proposition, which is focused on adults, but obviously children and families can dip in and out of, and there's plenty in there. For example, in our sports courts, we may run a football competition during the day, and one of them might be for adults and one of them might be for families. So there's plenty for everyone to get involved in. Which leads me nicely onto the next slide, which is our family proposition, so Family Zone. And you can see to the right there, following on from that football tournament, we've recently partnered with Southampton Football Club, and as part of that, we have Southampton Football Club Academy coaches that coach on board our ships in the school holidays. So Christmas, summer, Easter, some half terms, if we've got a particularly high child carry as well, we will have coaches from the academy come on, and they will coach all the different various age groups, and then they will also do one session for families, so sort of wrapping everyone up together, and they also do a coaching session for adults. So if you're not traveling with children and you still fancy being coached by a Southampton Football Club coach, then definitely pop along to that. And then we've got absolutely tons for our children to do on board the ship. So we've got our children's clubs, which is obviously a massive part of our family proposition. And our children's clubs, you can leave your children during the day if they're between the ages of 2 and 17. So 2-year-olds to 12-year-olds need to be signed in and out by a parent or guardian. And then the teenagers can sort of come and go from their room as they please, have a little bit more freedom. And then we also have night nursery. So that runs from 6 months to 4 years. And if you have a child in that age bracket, then from 6 p.m. until midnight, you can take them along as long as they are either asleep or ready to sleep. put them in a cot, or they can stay in the pram if you prefer, and then you can leave them in night nursery. And you can go out and you can have an amazing evening on the town, and you can enjoy a show, or you can go for dinner, and then you know that your child is safe and taken care of, and you can collect them on your way back. So we have children's clubs on 5 of our ships. The Reef Children's Club, if you book on board the ship, is free of charge. So all of that is included in the price of your cruise. And really great to have that fun for the kids and the peace of mind for the parents. If you want to book in advance of your holiday, so some people like to plan their time ahead more. Some people might have a special occasion coming up and they want to book themselves a massage, or they want to go out for dinner and just guarantee that that children's club space is available to them. You can book for a small charge pre-cruise as well now, and this is quite a recent thing that we've just added. And it just is able to give people that peace of mind. You might not want to book pre-cruise for every single session that you go to. Some of it you might want to wait until you book on board, but if you know that you've got something special coming up and you really want to secure that spot, then it's just a great addition that you can have that peace of mind. We've also got loads more outside of the children's club as well. So that is just one small element of our family proposition. So we have a partnership with Badman. So I'm sure a very traditional British brand that you would all recognize. So we have Wallace and Gromit and Shaun the Sheep on board all of our family friendly ships. And there's a short little video for you to see.
Having Badman on board P&O Cruises is a fantastic opportunity for everybody on board, from Shaun the Sheep story time and our clay stations. We have a wide range of activities and events with the Badman characters to keep everybody happy and entertained.
And loads of different activities, and we add more and more activities with Badman all the time. And something that we found the parents love just as much as the children. So obviously we grew up watching The Wrong Trousers and A Close Shave, and Badman is still creating amazing blockbuster topping movies today as well. So something that really spans all of the ages. And then we have loads of stuff that's age specific for different categories on board. So like our Little Sailor Soft Play for the tots. We've also got Turtle Tots, which is a series of sort of baby sensory classes. So different themes under the sea, at the farm, but the kind of classes that you might find on land if you've got a little one. We've got Ocean Performance Academy. So the kids can go along, and sort of older ones can learn how to break dance or do TikTok dances or all of that cool stuff. And then the little ones can do Superhero School and Unicorn Academy and all sorts of really exciting fun things that they love. And then we always travel in our peak season. So whenever we've got a high childcare on board in the school holidays, we have our family guest entertainers as well. So people like City and Sweep, or characters like City and Sweep, Exciting Science, which is an incredible show creating explosions and doing all these science experiments. And then the Animal Guys, who are really, really popular, and you'll find them quite often on Iona and Azura. And they're kind of these giant puppets, but they don't look like puppets. When you're watching them, you really genuinely believe that there is an elephant on stage, and they are so large, and the shows are really incredible. So loads and loads of stuff that goes on for the children and families on board our ships. And I think I'm going to stop that there, because time is creeping on, and I would love you guys to have the opportunity to ask any questions.
Oh, and what a fantastic job. I learned so much, and having worked for P&O Cruises for a long time, and you forget how broad and how much variety there is on board all of our ships. What did you guys think of that? Wasn't that incredible? And it is just brilliant to see how much is included. I love thinking about all the different things. That bingo gets so competitive. We've got, karaoke is just a brilliant thing to go and watch. The kids zones are fantastic on board our ships. We all love Shaun the Sheep, don't we? And I just think whether you're creative, you want to zone out with a board game, however you want to be entertained, we've totally got that on our ship. So I just think, didn't you? What a fantastic presentation. Now, just a couple of questions I had, just thought you would like to explain a bit more, is I love my Horizon magazine, which I take down to breakfast with me every morning to plan my meals, my entertainment, and how on earth I'm going to leave myself time to go and explore our fabulous destinations. Can you just explain for anybody that's new to P&O Cruises what the Horizon magazine is?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is your Bible when you're on board, really. It's everything you need to know, sort of a one-stop shop. And it gets delivered to your cabin the night before. So everyone's got a little hole, a little cubby hole that you can go in when you get back from dinner, or when you go and get changed the night before. pop your horizon out. So the front page will give you sort of a little bit of the highlights of what's going on today. And that will be things like whether you're in port, whether there's a clock change, all of that really important information. And then it will also pull out all of the sort of main events that are happening that day. And then when you open it up on the inside, you will find listings of absolutely every single thing that is taking place on board your ship that day. Now, some people we know give it a cursory glance and then they just think, no, I'm just going to go with the flow. Wherever the day takes us, wherever our feet end up, that's what we'll do. And some people, as Steph said, you're there with your highlighter, going for breakfast in the morning and deciding exactly what you're going to do throughout the day and making sure you're there early so you can get a good seat and join in with all of the activities. And that's the thing, because you can do absolutely as much or as little as you want to do. And whatever sort of day you want to have on board, you can really tailor it to make it your own. And then on the back page of the horizon, you'll also find all of the times for everything on board. So if you're not sure what time the restaurants are open, or if you want to go to a certain bar, you know exactly when all of the different venues on board the ship open and close. So it's really every single piece of information that you need. And we, of course, now have My Holiday as well, which you can log into on your phone. And so a lot of that information is also carried onto there. And we also have a PDF version of that horizon on board My Holiday as well. So if you don't want to be walking around with a piece of paper and you've got your phone with you, then you can have a look at it on there as well.
Fabulous. Yeah, it honestly is how I live my day-to-day on board. Can you tell us about the theatre shows? Is there any need to pre-book? And I know we do send an email a couple of weeks beforehand and you can pre-book your space in the theatre, but there's always space available, right, on board. But is there a need to do that?
Yeah, so again, it's kind of personal preference, and it's actually only Iona and Avia that you can pre-book the entertainment for now. So Britannia, Azura Ventura, Aurora Arcadia, there really isn't any need. We repeat the shows every evening, so there's at least 2 or 3 performances of the same show each night, and that makes sure that whatever dining time you're on, whatever your evening looks like, there's an opportunity for you to go and see that show. Now, some of them get busier than others. The 8:30 show is always the most popular. So if there's an opportunity to go to the earlier or the later show, then you know that you're sort of more likely to be guaranteed a seat in those performances. Iona and Avia, where we do the booking, if you know you definitely want to see a specific show, I would book it, because then you just know that you've got the comfort of knowing you've definitely got a seat in there. Chances are, by the time you get to the theatre, there will be seats available anyway. It just might be that if the show is sold out, or at least is displaying as sold out, then anyone that has a booking will be let in first, and then we get plenty of no-shows. So anyone that hasn't turned up, whatever seats are available sort of 2 or 3 minutes before the show starts, everyone else gets let in. But obviously you then just have that, I might have to stand outside the theatre and hope that there's a seat situation. Whereas if you've pre-booked it, you know you can go straight in and take your seat. And the seats, you don't pre-book a certain seat. So you pre-book a space in the theatre, and then when you get into the theatre, you take any available seat. So we know that some people have really specific preferences of where they want to sit. So it just gives you that flexibility of being able to sit wherever you want to when you get in.
Yeah, and there's a lot of love for the 7:10 Club, for example, on board Iona and Avia, and that is a must, right?
Yeah.
To pre-book. You pre-book that on My Holiday, though, don't you, when you get on board for the web portal?
Yeah, exactly. So you do. And I would, if you're going on one of our Excel ships on Avia and Iona, I would absolutely recommend it. It's a small venue, which is one of the beauties of it, because it's so intimate, and we've got a house band in there called the 710s. Some amazing drinks, really lovely cocktails in that venue, and different sets every evening that are sort of really carefully curated to create a different atmosphere each night. But if you have the opportunity, and that's included in the cost of the holiday, there's no additional charge. But you do need to get on that app pretty early, because as it's such a small, intimate venue, obviously it does sell out so quickly. There was a question that I just saw pop up as well about accessibility in the theatres. So yes, all of our theatres have spaces that you can either park a wheelchair in and stay within the chair, or where you can park a wheelchair and transfer to a seat next to it. And then we have a lot of spaces where we've got sort of individual seats on their own, so people can accompany those that are sat in wheelchairs next to them. Yeah, that's in all of the theatres.
Fabulous. And while we're on accessibility, and I think cruising is so accessible. For the kids clubs, are they set up for children with accessibility needs?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have plenty of children that travel with all kinds of different needs. Whether that's sort of those that need to come in a wheelchair, or whether those that have more sort of special educational needs, and the teams on board are set up to deal with that. One thing that we don't offer within our children's clubs is one-to-one care. So if a child comes on with additional needs, then we would put a care plan in place with their parents. So if you would like to leave your children in the children's club, up to 14 days before the start of your holiday, you fill out a registration form, and that asks questions like, does your child have any additional needs, any allergies, any things like that? And if there's anything from that registration form that the youth manager on board, when she goes through them all, he goes through them all, decides needs a further conversation, then they would invite the parent or guardian in for a chat, put that care plan in place for them. If it was determined that they thought that they needed more specialist care or one-on-one care, that obviously within the children's club, every time you are trying to give more attention to one child, then it's sort of everyone else suffers from it. So we have to make sure that we find that right balance. If it's decided that they need sort of more specialist attention, then of course they're welcome to come and join us in the children's club, but they would then need to come in with a parent or guardian. But that's sort of only really in exceptional circumstances. And otherwise we've got that care plan in place, and then all of the youth team that are working in the room that child is in will know that and understand sort of any triggers that they might have, and be able to deal with that accordingly.
Wow, we really do cater for absolutely everybody. So thank you so much for explaining that. And of course, you're registering your child 14 days before, and then the spaces for the kids club. So you've got a day, an evening, and the night nursery slots come up later in the holiday cycle. So once you're on board, it's 8:30 in the morning. Is that right, for the next day?
That's correct. Yeah. So when you get on board the ship that day at 8 p.m, they'll open for the first day. And then subsequently, all other days, 8:30 in the morning, fastest finger first on the app to secure your space. But of course, now, if you want to make sure that you've got that space guaranteed, you can pre-book. We don't release all of the spaces for pre-booked, so there's no risk when you get on board the ship that there won't be any spaces left. So once you, 2 weeks before the cruise starts, you can go on the app and there will be some spaces available for you to book, but there will still be plenty left. So once you get on board the ship, you've still got a really fair chance of being able to get one.
Yeah, that's so good. Has this just not been the most fantastic presentation from Kat? I think you've answered every question. So if there's no more questions, then we will say goodbye. Thank you for interacting with us today. I hope you've learned lots. Do let us know in your feedback survey, and I can pass all your well wishes on to Kat. And that's it for our webinars for this month. But of course, there's always new ways to learn. Do check out our Learn and Earn Hub. So we're going to love you and leave you on this rainy day, but hopefully we've brightened it up for you. And we'll see you very soon. Thanks very much. Thanks, Kat.
Bye.